Hey, why do they call it sound check? It's not like you're checking.
Yeah, it's a lot like that, actually.
It is like that. It's not. You know what? It's not a bad way to describe it. You know what I was going to say?
What's that?
Not bad. This is my new personality. You know what? Now that I think about it more, you're right.
Wow, so this is thoughtful, Andy?
Yeah, it's thoughtful, Andy. It doesn't seem to apply to anything.
Considered words, Andy?
You know what, Josh?
Yes?
And I use your name a lot, or whoever's I'm with. I use their name a lot.
It's like very Dale Carnegie.
Yep. You know what, Josh? You're right. It is. I know exactly what you're saying, Josh. You're saying the familiarity breeds contempt. Well, I'm showing you that.
Is that where the contempt is coming from?
No. The contempt is coming from. Here's where I think the contempt comes from.
Okay.
Things did not go well for me as a child.
Understood.
I was not raised well, per se.
Right.
I don't have normal human feelings. And because of that, I started to exhibit obnoxious behavior at a very early age that I have never been able to stop. Now, I only think it's obnoxious because everyone in my environment has said so.
Right, because everyone.
I get the same.
It's the constant feedback loop.
I get the same note from everybody.
Holy shit, that's obnoxious. Yes.
Yeah, it's not like people giving me differing notes.
Right.
You know, it's not like I've never heard anyone call me obnoxious before. I've never heard anyone say, "Would you stop acting out?" before. That's an interesting feedback.
You've never. They've said it plenty. You just never hear it.
I don't hear it.
Right.
So that's my MO. That's where I'm coming from. Dig.
Dig.
You know what that's a dig at?
Was that
your stupid movie?
How's that?
Skidoo has people saying dig. You dig, I dig. You dig. I'm not going right into it now. I'll talk to you later. But you dig?
Yeah, I dig.
The only thing I was proud of in that movie was being able to figure out, not exactly, but I guessed around when the movie was.
Yeah.
I knew they were hippies.
That's good.
And then, so I figured it was around the late 60s. I didn't think it was the 70s.
Right.
68.
Yeah.
I don't understand what Otto Preminger was doing in the movie. Did he direct it?
Yeah.
It's horrible directing that movie. Or maybe you can't direct it well.
Well, I think, yeah.
That's it. I don't want to put him down because he's one of our best directors, right?
Not really.
Okay, fine.
He had some good ones, but
there's nothing he could have done with this material. This material was so awful.
Well, it's his fault. You got to blame him.
Who goes and buys his material? Who says, "Oh, I have the rights to the absolute worst"?
Well, there's a little backstory to why he was doing
all right, so you want to? Should we?
No, let's. No.
No, we're not doing it.
We don't put a segment in as a safety net and then go right to it.
Yeah, you know what, people? This is exactly why we added this segment. Is to add expectation. Now, I have bad news for you. I have good news. I watched Skidoo.
That is good news to
but
me.
I finished watching it around 7:00.
Yeah. So you're still high from it.
And notice, no funny stuff today.
Yes, I did. You brought water.
Funny stuff.
You even broke the seal in front of me.
I didn't even think of that. It just happens to be true. Because otherwise I wouldn't trust me.
I wouldn't either.
Because there's a lot of things that are clear liquid. Actually, if you like the sativa stuff, it's really not clear.
Yeah.
It's like an alcohol-based.
Okay.
And it's kind of glycerin-y.
Okay.
Who needs it?
Not you.
I didn't do the music. I didn't bring the music.
That,
Did you think it was going to happen?
I didn't think it was going to happen. I really didn't.
You know what?
I think it'll happen eventually.
No, it will.
But the 1 week lag on a promise. Come on.
It's unbelievable. You would think at some point someone would say, "Look, you don't have to lie. You could just say
nothing.
Nothing is coming.
Right.
I hope to have stuff coming." But the lying is very, very weak. But I did almost today. I went to my closet because I'm redoing my closet in the house. Very exciting.
Yeah,
it's by Closet World.
I'm already titillated.
Closet World is no. I was going to get something bad that I had written, but I couldn't think of anything briefly. I don't think there's anything briefly bad as Karen. In other words,
right.
I'd like to find something from college that was as bad as Karen. I'm ready to turn around through therapy and love all the horrible things I did. In other words, instead of hating those things I did,
right.
I turn around.
Where's the win in hating the horrible, though? Or loving the horrible?
That's how you get to be like a Trumpian character.
That's true.
You convince yourself whatever you do is genius.
Right. And a success.
And then you sit back and you wait for the ducats to roll in. I'm very happy so far, and for the rest of the night with my mic technique so far. And sometimes I feel like I'm never going to be right on the mic.
Yeah. Sometimes I feel that way too.
But here's what I decided. I went from 80 to 60 milligrams of Prozac this week.
Yeah. And how's it feeling?
I feel more clear.
Well, that's good.
I felt like when I was trying Prozac.
You were just like, I need a little more depression in the mix.
No, I was like 20 feels good, 40 feels good, 60 feels great, 80
not so good.
And 80 I decided I was feeling a little bit like there's a tarp around me.
Have you been consulting with anyone on this?
Oh, no. Yeah,
okay.
I made an actual appointment with a psychiatrist.
Yeah.
I don't play around with this, and I don't recommend anybody does. Don't do what I did when I was 12 years old to 14 years old and would visit my grandmother in Miami. Do not do this. Do not.
Did you hit the medicine cabinet?
I not only hit the medicine cabinet every evening, and of course we didn't have the internet then, and we didn't have. I don't think I had a medical dictionary, but whatever it was that she had, I would try one of them, and not even being a bright 12-year-old.
And
like,
to this day, you don't have cataracts.
I think that's where I did take Darvon.
Yeah, and that's
an old
downer,
style,
like a little Valium-y thing.
Yeah.
So and liked it.
I did. You did too?
No, I'm asking.
Oh, yes.
I'm assuming.
It was the only one that I don't think you can feel your blood pressure going down, and therefore you can remark after taking someone's blood pressure pill.
Yeah,
that was a nice ride.
Right.
And luckily,
you could stand up real fast.
Yeah, I noticed I could stand real fast. Luckily, nothing that my grandmother took would be, if you take one of these along with food, you're going to die.
Along with Snickers.
But I think there was a time in my life where if it said one, I took two.
Sure.
To get high.
Sure.
Don't do that with Quaaludes.
You can't anymore.
You can't.
I'd love to have the opportunity to make that mistake.
And you said you haven't ever?
Never. They were gone.
I think you'd enjoy it.
I was like 8 when they took them off the market.
Yeah, I think, to me, it was a metabolism thing where I took a half a Quaalude and I felt so goddamn drunk.
Yeah.
And they were all over campus after that. And I just never had the desire anymore to feel instantly drunk.
Yeah, it all kind of depends on how the first time goes with anything.
Well, my jam, I was in college, and I just keep on saying college. It's not like I'm better than people, but I went to prep school, I went to college, I went to finishing school, and then I went back to prep school to get my bag from my locker. Okay, you must remember what I was saying. What was I saying?
You were talking about Quaaludes in college.
Yeah, I was in the LSD mushrooms pot camp of anything that would be psychotropic, something that would make my mind bend.
Yeah.
But I didn't. And also speed.
Okay.
I took a lot of speed. I don't want to say I took a lot of speed. I don't want people to get the wrong idea about it. I don't want them to think it's the wrong idea. But this is the new Andy. This is Tell the Truth Andy. Do you think I'm telling too much truth? I don't want to be a bad influence on kids.
I don't think, we only know there's one kid listening.
And he's coming off of meth.
That's right.
This speed we had when I was in college, I think I told you the story about how I took it's the greatest speed. I don't know what it was. You took it was liquid, and you put like a piece of a Kleenex into the tube, and you would eat the Kleenex, and it was unbelievable. It was the greatest feeling. It was like a million hits of ecstasy at once. That's how great it was.
Wow.
And
you're not overstating that.
I'm not overstating. No, well, I overstate everything. But it was incredible.
That's clocked.
And I fell, and I slipped, and threw my back out, could not get up, and I'm not lying about this. They were playing an incredible string band marathon on the radio, and it was terrible.
And you're not lying about this.
I'm not lying about it. It was like third year of college.
So let me just recap.
Yes.
Just to make sure I have the mental picture.
Yeah.
Dorm room?
No, you moved off campus in the second
apartment.
Year. Apartment. Horrible apartment.
Someone gave you a tube of super speed, liquid speed.
Yeah, and I don't even know, how was that going? I mean, it was going around with much fanfare.
Okay.
Like, people like, just take a little of this.
So
this is great.
You dabbed a piece of Kleenex.
And it was unbelievable.
Drabbed it on your tongue.
I think I just swallowed the piece of Kleenex.
Okay. And then, wah! So you threw out your back.
Yeah, I threw my back.
Within how short a time? How much ecstasy before agony?
Well, it had to be fairly quick because...
So it was literally like, wow, ow, thud.
Maybe a half hour because speed did last. If it was speed, I don't know what exactly it was in this thing.
Yeah.
But it lasted a few hours when you did it.
Okay, so you're flat on your back.
Yeah. And we would...
And you're happy.
Oh, except... Yes, I was in
You're happy whining, though, aren't you?
Well, no, because I hear the music, right?
Okay.
This is the worst part of the Incredible String Band. They're called the Incredible String Band.
This is a band.
People will know what I'm talking about.
Okay.
So you first hear them, right? And the first song's like, all this intricate finger picking kind of.
Sure.
And then 2 songs in, it is unbelievably horrific.
Yeah.
It's all finger picking for an hour and a half.
Yeah. Just a mind-numbing melange of picking.
And terrible sounding.
Okay.
I mean, and I was like, now how did I eventually get up? And here's what I'm thinking. Are my stories false? Is that what I'm going to learn when I'm on my deathbed?
I think they're impressionistic.
I don't feel that way, because this really happened. This really happened, but yeah, I think it really happened.
Okay.
So what's there's no exaggeration really even in it.
No, I mean,
except not being able to get to the radio.
In some ways, I wish there was.
That's the problem with all of my LSD anecdotes. That's the same.
Because the story ends with you flat on your back listening to a bad album.
No, not a bad album. I'm listening to an Incredible String Band marathon on the radio.
Okay.
Like,
but how many albums did they have?
All of them. They played them all, and they never said at any point, "Now we're going to start back at the beginning." And if anybody can call them up out there in Thought Spiral Land, you'll see immediately. Some people know. I was into like Hot Tuna.
Yeah.
I don't know if you knew about them.
Sure.
But not nothing to be into them, right?
No.
But they were like an acoustic group, Yoma and Jack Cassidy from the Jefferson Airplane. So I was into like a guitar type stuff.
Right.
So that's what hooked me a little bit. And also I couldn't move.
So did you eventually get Stockholm Syndrome with the Incredible String Band?
No. I know that either my roommate came home, something happened where I was able to turn it off.
Pick me up or turn that off, either one.
I don't understand something though. I don't think I would have taken the speed and then I don't think I would have had my back thrown out and said I can't move very well. It would help speed. No, it must be the other way around.
That's what I think is you went, wow, threw out your back with the exclamation, hit the ground in pain.
Now, you never took speed, right?
No.
Were anything that was like whites or white crosses or anything?
No, they just weren't around.
Yeah, that's true.
I would have. I probably would have.
That's right. What was around when you were first getting down? With
pot. Just pot. Like, some people did coke, but they weren't sharing it really. By that time.
You've tried coke, right?
I only did a numbie once. I never actually did coke.
Well, you know why? I'm telling you.
Because by the time, I was like 16 or 17, and I was like, all right, you're a fat guy who smokes. You're an addictive dude. Don't start this.
That's a very good...
It was pretty mature of me.
That's very mature.
It really was.
Especially you were starting a drug that is so associated with stand-up comedy from the very era that you were
But it was more associated with addiction at that point. This was,
Oh, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
Addicted. Oh, I'm not saying all these stand-up comics were doing well. They were all addicts.
But the gloss was off the lily by 1988.
Oh, no question. No. It was a dark time.
So it wasn't like it was like this enticing, come hither kind of drug at that point. It was, it was dudes, and I could name names, but I won't.
Yeah.
But it was, it was comics who would duck off, by that time people were ducking off into bathrooms and coming back different. They weren't, they weren't laying it out on the table.
No, we know that would have been Studio 54 or something.
Yeah.
Where you would have laid it out on the table. But,
yeah, so you're saying that didn't really actually happen. That just happened in movies.
Well, I was at places where we did a lot of, I did too much cocaine.
Yeah.
This is the new truthful Andy. What is it that I'm, the old Andy, who is he hiding from?
Okay, you're at a party.
Yeah.
This is a young guy asking old guy questions.
Okay.
And it's, people are doing coke. So what is the etiquette? Do you take turns laying out rails for people if everyone has some?
It's the word. It's unbelievable that you say that because it is the most selfish, greedy.
That's what I mean. Is that there has to be some sort of etiquette, spoken or unspoken, about sharing.
You want to break that etiquette as soon as you do your first line of coke.
Right.
This is so great. It's so great. Why is he talking? Why is he talking? Just pass it around. Pass it around. Oh yes, it is my turn. It is my turn. It is my turn.
And is that how it goes?
It's kind of like that. You get all hyped up. But, people reacted to it differently.
Yeah.
Like, I really went into I really came down hard.
Right.
So, once I did enough that I actually probably could have killed myself, or I could feel my heart. You're not supposed to feel your heart aching from a drug.
Right.
So.
It should at least be like a sandwich.
So, yeah, but that was. I did it when I was in my senior year of college. When I was home, my friend gave me some, and he didn't have a lot. It was like when it first came out, it was like everybody said, "Oh, you gotta try it. It's very mellow." Right. And I remember liking it. It's like, wow, this is fun. And I only did a little bit, and I did a little bit more, but I didn't go all night with it.
Yeah.
But then when I got into it, after college out in LA, you could see how it could very quickly be over.
Right.
I mean, in other words, like the whole tenor of the people that you're hanging out with in a way change. I mean, I hung out with people who were okay. I did cocaine, so I'm not saying it's like, hey, stay away from losers like Andy Kindler do cocaine.
No, but I know so many people who did have problems who were just like, yeah, you ended up at the end of the night at the worst fucking places because you were chasing the coke.
Right. And why didn't it end up that way for me? I didn't have a lot of money.
Right.
And I got scared early enough.
And people would ditch you early enough in the night.
They didn't ditch me, but they didn't ditch me. But I do remember being in a shower with the water running on me and going, oh my God, please. See, I don't want to die from a drug overdose.
No, it's cliche.
That's what I've said to myself.
Yeah.
And it does seem like the 60s, it really did bum out the 60s a lot.
Yeah.
When you had Hendrix and Janis Joplin, and they all were like 26.
Oh, what happened to them?
You didn't hear?
No.
They went on. They died with the Big Bopper.
Ah.
I thought you did need to give me a look.
I didn't really think. I committed to something that I was like, that's Bush League, So I just.
That was a fake laugh right at the end, but it started out as a real laugh.
That's all I need.
Yeah, all you need to know is that there was some sincerity involved.
Exactly. You can. I just put it on the page. You can decide how many measures it goes.
And I'm not going to go crazy on this. This is the last thing I'll say about this topic for now. That's why I think, in a lot of ways, the best drug I ever did, because I knew what it was when I had it, because it was legal at the time, was ecstasy.
Yeah.
Because that drug, if you do it under the right circumstances and you know what it is, it's a beautiful evening of kind of like a ecstatic feeling, an empathetic feeling.
Yeah, it's a good drug. It lasted too long for me, but it was
right.
But it was good.
I'm just saying it's my favorite. If I had to say what was your favorite evening, it would have to be the early ecstasy evenings, and the early acid trips in college.
Yeah.
How many did you do acid?
Nope.
You did the mushrooms just that one time?
I did mushrooms a couple times.
You see, but you're the kind of guy who could be like one of the people who, like, nothing could faze you. You try out this really intense.
I think that's true, and then I would just be slightly uncomfortable for 8 hours. That's kind of how I see it going down. That I don't have a good trip. I just have a mild trip, but it just won't go away.
Well, I won't shut the door. Like, I would love to try one day that Oreo, that stuff that you drink.
Ayahuasca?
Yeah, ayahuasca. I'd like to try that one day, but I don't want to die. That's my problem.
I don't like, when throwing up is like part of is de rigueur for any experience. I'm like, it's,
Well, it's not de rigueur. You have to do it. Like that with peyote. It's not like a delicacy.
Right.
It makes you vomit. That would be very, very hard to be sick, which is how it happens all the time with the peyote and all these like trips with the ayahuasca.
Right.
And then you come onto it, and then that could be a ride that's like, yeah, you were supposed to look. Like, if I wanted to say I want to examine my anxiety more, I could take a lot of acid.
Or you could go to therapy twice a week.
If I was having trouble getting in touch with my anxiety, I would take acid.
Yeah.
But I think ultimately now, I'm pretty happy with the 3 to 4 ounces of pot I smoke a day.
I think that's probably good.
And the gummies.
You don't hear a lot of great stories of guys, taking heavy drugs in their 60s and it going that well.
No, that's one of those. I'd rather than fade away. I'd rather
be a huge burden on everyone, all my loved ones.
I'd rather
for
zap
years.
out. He goes, I'd rather burn out than fade away. That's what it is.
Right.
I'm like, how come you don't know? It's a classic.
I did know it.
You were joking.
I preferred
with
to
me.
burn you.
You know what you were doing? You were joshing with me. Has anybody ever point that out?
No.
Really? And we'll be back with two people playing at the most sarcastic people in the world, except one guy's not playing.
This is Barely Ironic with Andy and Josh.
Yes. This is slightly tart.
So how was your weekend?
Okay, I'll tell you how my week was. First of all, I went to Seattle.
Right, that's right. You knew that was right, but
that was a lot of fun.
Last week you said I went to Seattle and that was wrong, so.
So what am I saying? Where are we now? What are we next? What are we in? Christmas now?
Yeah, we're in Christmas. So Seattle was good? You did 2 shows?
I did 2 shows. They were not incredibly well attended.
Wow.
And in fact, the first show was like a decent sized show if you were sitting in a 60-seater.
Right, and how many was it?
I think it's one of these 200-seat rooms when it's all filled up.
Right.
So, but it was a nice turnout.
No,
and then
it's still a 200-seat room empty, I have to say.
Yeah, exactly. We'll laugh it up. Laugh it up, tough guy. Laugh it up. I like that character. So, the second show was many less people, but I'm so happy to say that I really enjoyed the second show more than the first show. Not just because it was better, but I just happened to enjoy it more. Right. So I was very happy that I was able to get over the inevitable thing that happens. Like, this is who, after all these years, this is what it comes down to.
Attendance shame.
Attendance shame, because I also think I'm operating under a false notion of Twitter still. Twitter
does not put asses in seats very much.
Sometimes, but they have to read it. They have to read it,
right.
And you have to do it a couple times a day.
Yeah.
But it's not going to put asses in seats.
Not
but
much.
I don't know, does Facebook things?
I think more. I think Facebook does it a little more.
But there's no, in other words, Jim Gaffigan is not sitting around now wondering how to get people in the place.
No, I understand.
But
I understand where the dread and anxiety and self-hatred comes from.
So much fun on the second show. So the whole thing was great. And also the thing that's also amazing is they have the legal weed up there, just like California.
Right.
So every time I go on the road, I have to do that whole thing with how much do I buy?
Right.
Because I can't accept that I'm going to have to throw some stuff away.
Right. So what I'm going to go 3 grams to be safe, you buy.
No, I bought 4 joints.
Okay.
Which I think was maybe half of an eighth, maybe.
You're there for a night?
Well, for a night. Yeah, well, okay. No. Well, first of all, I don't want to buy a single joint because that seems to be, I want to be able to give some to somebody if I'm not going to have it. So 4 seemed was the least that they had.
Okay.
Okay. And I still gave 2 to somebody at the who I don't want to say who they were. 2 people who
it's legal.
Oh, that's right. 2 people. That's right. From the club, I gave them because the other idea is I hate the idea of throwing them out.
Right.
And then I bought 10 like discs, like orange cream discs.
Yeah.
And I did bring. I'm going to admit to you that I had some in my where my cookies were. I was playing back.
Where your cookies were?
Yeah, I cook. So they're going to say, are these lemon-looking discs pot-filled? What are they going to do?
They don't give a shit.
They don't give a shit about that. So I had a lot of fun up there. I think I had a good meal up there too, and I visited my friends George Meyer. You know George Meyer, right?
Yes.
And Maria Semple, and they have an incredible condo up there.
They're like by the Space Needle, right?
They're right around the block from the damn Space Needle,
Yeah.
and they have this like 360-degree view. I've never
been there, but I've heard tale.
I don't think my ship's going to come in, Josh.
It might not come in on that level.
The one great thing about where I live is I'm 6 blocks from you. That's the only good thing that's happened to me.
I'm your Space Needle.
But I love Seattle. I think the city is so cool. But it is very rainy.
Yeah.
I don't ever mind I go, oh, it's nice. It's raining when you go up there and you get on their nerves. But I do think it might get to me after a while.
Well, you're not prone to depression.
Would you like to live up there, or would it be too rainy?
I don't, if I was to go to a city like that, I'd probably go back to Minneapolis since they're so similar.
Exactly, and you'd have less rain.
I'd have less rain, more snow, more cold.
Snow, more cold.
But people I know.
That's right. That's the show.
But I like Portland, too.
Yeah. We can't go wrong with any of those cities. And these are maybe cities that we have to escape to.
Chicago I still like.
Chicago's nice. But I still like the West. I still prefer West Coast cities in general. Would you say that's true as well, Josh? Josh, if you had to... It's kind of old back on the East Coast. I'm from there. I know what's happening.
Yeah.
You go to LaGuardia, clean the bathrooms. That's all I'm saying. But all those cities... I always wanted to live in San Francisco for a long time.
I did for a second, and then it just got all fucked up.
When I'm reading this book, Laurel Canyon, what I'm realizing is how much I didn't know what I was doing when I said, I'm going to go to L.A. and make a music career. But what I didn't know was everything was moving to the West Coast. And the movie studios moved out there in the 20s, and then the music things moved out there, I think, in the 60s or something like that.
The 50s and 60s.
There's still photography, and there's still a bunch of magazine world is still there. But I happened to move out to the
Carson
West.
came out early 70s.
Carson came out. Yeah, so I happened to come out to the West Coast when people were coming out. But I guess it was.
But a few years too late.
No, but I'm thinking like.
No, you were really on the tail end.
Do you think I was?
Good.
No, I wasn't on the tail end of that. But I didn't know that there would be anything else after it.
Yeah.
That was my fear.
Right. You missed the moment.
I've been a long-haired band that played funk.
That was your fear?
Well, not good stuff.
That would have been aspirational.
Well, I never think of myself and the variety of music as an explosion of deliciousness. Me playing funk. I feel like a white man, not that you can't be white and play funk, but you can fail horribly.
Yes.
If you're a white man delving into any form of music that requires, I don't know what I'm saying.
You should stop.
Yeah. I'm two sentences away from Jimmy the Greek Snyder or whatever the hell he said. Yeah. Of course the black people can play basketball because...
What was the best thing you ate in Seattle? Little orange round pot discs.
This is a thing, I'm sure you feel similarly, is knowing when to eat when you're performing. It's like I want to eat food, but I don't want to eat food knowing it's close to the show.
Right.
And so invariably, if I go up to do one night somewhere, it's not like as great as it's going to be.
Right.
Because then after the show, those damn shows, they start at like the time of night when people are going out to do things.
Right.
They don't have them during dinner or before dinner.
Right.
So when you're done...
What diner are you going to?
Right. So I actually found a place that's not far from the club, and it was very nice. I had a little margarita pizza.
Yeah.
And it was excellent. And I had a Coca-Cola with it as well.
All right.
So it was a big night for me all around.
I see.
I didn't have sushi, which I would like to have when I go to Seattle, because I didn't get a chance to go coffee shopping.
Damn.
But I don't do that anymore. Because of your negativity towards my habit, I don't even care about it anymore.
Good.
I make coffee at home.
Sometimes peer pressure works out.
No, it's your low energy take on hobbies that could add so much to your life.
Yeah.
Let's see, is there anything else I wrote down here? We're not ready to go to the movie yet, right?
No, I mean, we could talk about me.
Oh. Wait, there's no reason to get... We're not that desperate.
Fight.
Well,
rage against
do you think
the
it's
dying of the light.
No, I thought I wrote something down about the week, though. Because this is kind of my podcast book. No, interestingly enough, everything I have to say is...
previous
based
weeks.
on that movie. I came up with so many amazing lines. I didn't come up with the lines. But I was going to ask you, do you think, doesn't it look like the pillow guy does like have a stiff neck almost sometimes? Or he looks at you.
He really does.
He really like looks like.
After 50 years of sleeping the wrong way, there was no way to fix it, even with the magic of my pillow.
How was your week?
My week was okay. It was, biggest event was probably going to the back surgeon.
So now we have an update.
We have a surgery on the books.
When is it?
Scheduled. It's in December.
What day in December? Oh, you don't have to tell me.
I don't really need to say it. I don't need to.
Idiot. Where exactly and what number is your
Sometime in
booth?
the first half of, we'll be talking about it.
Is it an outpatient thing?
It is. Yes, it's full anesthesia, but it is going to be an outpatient thing.
Wow.
Yeah.
So almost like getting a colonoscopy, but it's going to be a more intense. I mean, you're going to feel pain afterwards. We don't know what you're going to feel.
It's like a colonoscopy if the colonoscopy burst free from the colon and started jabbing at my spine.
So, do you know? Have you? Did you go online? Do you know what the outlook is going to be? How long it'll take supposedly to recover?
It sounds like it'll just be a couple weeks of recovery. Really.
Okay.
We'll see.
Have you told people what you're doing, or do I know what you're doing? I keep telling people you're getting something fused.
I'm not getting fusion. I don't really want to get into it because people will start writing in telling me don't do that.
Oh, that's what you don't want.
That's what I'm trying to
That's what you don't
avoid.
want. Josh, I don't know how far down the line you are.
Back surgery is this thing that people feel free to tell you that
Yes.
you're doing the wrong thing.
Yes.
So
I wouldn't,
and I
they say.
appreciate people's concern. I've
Not
had
that much.
friends and strangers tell me I should or shouldn't do something.
Yeah.
But I've settled on this, and I settled on he's such a good surgeon. I can't have it till mid-December.
Right.
So,
That's how good he is.
and I have high confidence.
Well, the only thing that I keep thinking about,
And I saw the MRI, so it's like, that makes sense.
right, and the only thing I think about is that they just keep playing these commercials where they say the incision,
The 1-inch incision.
it's smaller than that now. They say the incision, the doctor doesn't even know where to go in. Right. That's how.
They couldn't even slid a dime into you when he's done.
And so, what are they saying when they get in there? They start shooting lasers around.
I don't know what they're doing. I think they actually just put a knife in and they go pew 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 pew,
which isn't bad.
No. But I assume it's similar to what the laser spinal clinic is selling.
Yeah.
But it's not lasers that he's doing it with.
Are you nervous? Are you happy? Are you?
I'm at the tipping point where I'm much more just ready, looking forward to having it done than I am living with this pain anymore.
Right.
I'm just sick of it. I'm sick of limping through airports. I'm sick of just looking at the world like an 85-year-old man. So
now, is it fairly safe? Do we think?
Well, I think so. I mean,
Yeah.
if you get a good surgeon, I think that helps.
Some of these surgeons, they're not so careful with the spine.
They're a confident lot, the surgeons. So
yeah,
you have
that's the bad sign. But some of these surgeons, like if you go to a discount, have you thought of a discount place?
Oh, it is a discount place.
Hi, I needed to have surgery done on my back. I went to Smith. No, forget it.
You didn't have a logo.
You know what? Saturday Night Live. I'm not coming in for the audition.
I'm Lumbar Lou.
I'm Lumbar Lou. I love that they have. It's really disturbing now how many commercials that they do have now. They didn't used to be able to advertise any drugs at all.
Right.
Maybe headache stuff.
Right.
And now
Then there was the golden age where they could advertise drugs and they didn't have to say all the side effects.
Is that true?
Yeah, there was a short time there, and then it just.
And the thing is, so I saw the worst one this last week is for bipolar 1. Now, if you have bipolar disorder, you know what you have, but they have to show you a guy building this impossible.
Yes, the visual analogy for what you have.
You can't do that. You can't do that. I know if I have bipolar.
If you're making pancakes on a teeter-totter in the sky.
I mean, Is there anybody who, I mean, I hate to sound like a commercial, a comic doing jokes about commercial, but is there anybody who's like, wait a second, do I have bipolar 1 or do I have manic problems?
Right.
There's not one person who doesn't have it who knows about it.
Right.
Wait a second. I built a lean-to once and then ran around my back lawn in the dark.
Right.
It's just ridiculous. But that's just me.
I tiled my car at night.
Yeah. I actually can't believe that anyone would have green-lighted when they said, now in this commercial, we're going to try and create what bipolar 1 would be like with the guy building things. And they went, that's so great.
That's it. That's what it feels like.
I've heard so many of those commercials that I definitely know when I hear them what they won't cover. Like, not if you have AFib, not if it's from AFib.
Right.
That's all I know. I think that's for rheumatoid arthritis, but not, or something with the heart, but not caused from AFib.
Right. Yeah, some sort of, I don't know.
Yeah, but we would know if we needed it.
Exactly. Our doctor would tell us. We don't have to ask our doctor.
Yeah, exactly. So what else happened? So you went to, you went to the back surgeon to see if you had some, you made a date for me December and boom. That's why for a long time I didn't like the blues.
Yeah.
Because everybody would do it that way.
Because they weren't as modular as you realize.
So that was it. What else? Did you go see, any exciting things happen?
Did I go see?
Well, that's exciting that you scheduled it.
My mother-in-law was over. I told her about the back surgery. She started crying. So that was reassuring.
What if they forced you to, if instead of this, they go, look, we're sending you the hardcover of the Sarno collection. You must read the Sarno collection from beginning to end. And then tell us for real. No, it's not in my head. It's so much in your head, you made it come out on the MRI.
Exactly.
Pretty good.
No, I understand. I do understand
some of that.
That stuff, but it doesn't apply to me because it's not chronic ongoing pain that I'm dealing with.
Yes.
It is incredibly situational pain. In fact, that's what I said to the surgeon. It's like, look, this sucks, but it's predictable pain.
Right. Right. You know what it is.
What I'm concerned about is ending up somehow with unpredictable pain after this. And he's like, that's highly unlikely that will happen. Like,
that's what you were concerned
about. You're talking
was.
my language.
Look, this is look, I don't like what's happening with my back.
And I'm like, is this a routine version of this procedure that you described? Yes, it is. So those are all good answers to my questions.
Now, see, when you go to the doctor, unlike my mom, when my mom goes to the doctor, we have to send a crew of people to take notes.
Yeah, I'm usually the guy you send along with people to the doctor.
So you don't get thrown off by the thing.
At this point, my doctor fear level is 0. Like, I'm not afraid or intimidated by doctors at this point because
a patient who has a fear level of 0 has a fool for a client.
That's right. But I don't, you know what I mean? I'm not, at this point, I'm comfortable because I've done a lot of it. I've done a lot of it with other people being sick. I've done a lot of it with me being sick. I understand the sort of partnership aspect of it at this point.
Now, you are going to get some kind of morphine at first or something?
I'll get some sort of thing, yeah.
And did they say whether they would give you a large amount of it, enough to maybe have more for your friends?
They said specifically that.
That's so important to find out. And I urge everyone who's going to have a procedure.
I had to fire a cleaning person of ours because he kept asking me for my pain meds after I had surgery. Oh, my God.
And did you give him some at first?
I gave him one.
Right.
And then I was like, no, you can't have more because I still have pain and I have to go over the hill.
Was he sulking around?
Huh?
And then he was sulking around?
No, he wasn't sulking around, but then he asked again. And I specifically said, don't ask again. But he clearly had a problem,
And when he came to you the last time, how does even someone, they must really want it. And how did
he wanted it bad? And I could tell from,
yeah,
I could tell that as soon, and I literally said when I fired him, I said, look, you at this point, I feel like you saw my cancer as an opportunity for you.
Right. And now he says, I'd rather you not phrase it that way. Now, let me ask you
He felt really guilty. You know, he was.
How do you do that? I could never even do this. This is how I'm like Trump. I could never confront anybody with anything. He's a bully. But I'll tell you right up front, I'm not going to fire somebody.
Yeah.
I'm not going to this is what I'm going to therapy for. How do you have a conversation where you take a person into your study and you have this heart-to-heart talk
It was
with
on
them?
the phone, but he had to return my key, and he did.
Okay. So, those things make me very nervous.
Well, we had it was. I mean, it was a troublesome relationship in the sense that, you know, they had gotten it was like a husband and wife with a bad marriage, and he would, like, you know, there were days where he'd spend a half hour telling me how shitty his marriage is. You know,
that's not.
You know, so, but it was like it gotten too close, and then he wasn't doing that great a job cleaning, and then so the painkiller thing was like the last straw. It was like a deteriorating one of those crazy, like, we can't fire these people situations. Then he gave me a reason where he really hit a moral line for me, where it's like, no, now you're being.
And he tried to make you feel guilty too, or he said, "Come on."
He tried, kind of, yeah.
Yeah, come on, man.
It's hard to make me feel guilty in a situation where I know that I'm not at all wrong, you know. So it was that. That's how I could do it, because I'm not saying that I'm that brave. That is at first sign of trouble. You know,
yeah. Come
like
to my
this
office.
was like a long-term thing with them, and a lot of like eye rolling and like, oh Jesus, they're coming today, that kind of thing. So, but when he hit this line, then it was like, this is, you know, now it's easy, you know.
Right. Now, did you feel you had to hide it from him, like when you knew it was starting? Like, I would make sure.
No, because I was home when they were here.
Right.
So.
Right. Yeah. I see. And where would you, if you would just tell a person who hasn't been to your house,
how would you,
where you would keep something like that normally? Where do you normally keep it?
I keep it in the exploding booby trap box.
Love is a many splendor thing.
I keep it in with you, I keep it in the dark.
What? I don't even get that.
You're afraid of the dark, so therefore,
that's not nice, Josh.
I'm not afraid of you.
Josh calls me up. Hey, how'd you get home with your car? I was thinking of you today because it was cloudy out. And I was wondering if you were able to get your mail before it got dark. Hello. This is where, if we could end each segment like this with a little song. You are Jewish. I am too. When we get talking, it's Jew, Jew, Jew. You know what? I'm beginning to think that rhyming can never be funny ever again. There's no way to rhyme something and then to get the laugh from the rhyme.
There's funny rhymes, but, you know, you can't see it coming down Main Street. That's the
thing. There are funny lines, but there are also lines that are funny, but they're in serious songs, like The Werewolf of London. Like, that's a funny line.
Yeah,
I saw.
Well, that's where I live in my musical taste, is people who can be funny without it being a novelty song.
Zevon is one of those people who does tell the story, not every time, but from the other person, from whoever is the person's point of view.
Right. Sometimes they're even headless.
Oh, like on that. I never heard that. I don't know that song as well.
Rolling the headless Thompson Gunner.
Yeah. Is this the Gunner song?
Yes, Roland the Headless Thompson Gunner.
I have everything that he's done.
Roland was a warrior from the land of the midnight sun, with a Thompson gun for hire, fighting to be done.
And it's a good song? You like it?
I mean, it's dumb, but it's fun. Yeah.
No, but see now, the other song that's kind of...
That son of a bitch, Van Owen, blew off Roland's head. And every time I go past Van Owen Boulevard, I think of that line.
And to me, there's no song greater than Hit Somebody. I just love that song with Letterman in it. And just that he writes it about. That's a song that every time I hear it, you like that song? You like that song?
Yeah, I don't know it as well as you, clearly.
Every time I hear it, I think at the end...
I've heard it once.
Well, you know, he gets clocked at the end. But I think he scores a goal. And I always wonder, that's how you know a song is not bad. If you're wondering if that fake world... what he says at the end, did he get but that shouldn't be the lesson. The lesson should be he's dead. That's probably what
your lesson is. What happened after?
That's what that's the thing. And I don't even like Story that much, which is odd because if you watch Skidoo and you don't like Story, you're in trouble.
Well, you know, Nashville wasn't a nonstop party either. Let me just say.
What did I have you do?
Nashville.
I was worried about that all week because I was thinking to myself, first of all, it shouldn't be it shouldn't be, I think you'll love this. It should be, I love this. I wonder what you think of it, right?
That's the ideal.
Yeah, but you're not supposed to like not what you did, purposely hit me with something.
No, but I didn't missell it.
No, I know. I'm just kidding.
I think I said this is fucking bonkers or something like that about it. I think it lived up to fucking bonkers, didn't it?
The thing that's amazing about it is the fact...
I think they're related. I think the two movies are actually slightly related, frankly.
Because of Cast of Thousands?
Cast of Thousands, very much of time date stamp the year they were made.
Right. When was Nashville? 74 or something?
75. Mm-hmm. And you know, like fucking Jeff Goldblum on the tricycle motorcycle in Nashville could be in either movie.
I don't remember him on the... He's in Nashville?
Yeah.
Wow.
Throughout the movie.
Oh, did you know...
He never says a word, but he's the character on this motorcycle tricycle.
Oh. How'd you know? Was that his first movie?
I don't know.
He says nothing.
He says nothing, but he's in the credits.
Did you figure out the person I was talking about? Their acting name is Alan. Alan somebody.
Oh, yeah, the one who plays the husband?
Yeah.
I can see why he'd be angry just because he's angry.
But he thinks the plot was totally changed.
Yeah.
So, you know, can you tell what he's talking about?
No, because you did not articulate at all what he said. You just said he was upset, blah, 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 the plot changed, blah, blah, blah.
So it has to do with the assassination scene or someone getting killed that shouldn't have been killed or something like that.
Yeah. Well, it was his wife. The character was his wife that got killed. He
was a good actor, too, I thought.
Yeah, he was good. He's been good in a lot of shit over the years. But he always plays...
yeah, kind of a Garfield.
Alan Garfield.
Yeah, I got his name finally.
Yeah. So let's go. Let's do Skidoo first.
Okay.
So Otto Preminger, 1968, right?
Yeah, 1968. And I think Susan... At some point, I was like, oh, normally Susan loves to watch these things with me. But I didn't think she would... But she actually did. But she was also playing one of her video game things.
Yeah.
So, the movie, it says don't stream. I thought that was the funniest joke in the movie. Don't stream this. Please don't share this movie with anybody else. That was the funniest joke. Like you would ever pirate this movie. So, then it says, and there were no extras, which you play it or you don't, or you play the chapters.
This movie was like...
Before
this was way out of print for a long time, this movie.
Well, when you find out later that it's Nielsen, you feel sad because I love Nielsen.
Right.
Some of the music is some of the worst things I've ever heard in my life. It's like...
Skidoo, Skidoo,
yeah, oh.
What are you gonna do? Skidoo.
I couldn't believe when it got... That's why I said, I really wanted to bail on the movie like 13 minutes in.
Yeah.
But I said, there's going to be a scene I'm going to need to remember. And actually, if you do see the movie and don't see Skidoo, Badoo... And he even says, before we Skidoo...
All right. And Nielsen if I recall, he sings the entire credits.
Yes, he does. And that actually is kind of cute.
Yeah. I mean, it runs out of steam, but he commits to it.
It's not his fault, right?
He commits to it.
Who would write a piece of garbage? The writing is so... okay.
It's the same writer who wrote Brewster McCloud for Altman.
I don't know. Is that a good movie?
But, I mean, that's debatable.
Okay, but that's weird, though. So then, in other words, it's just like a...
That's another way these two are related.
Here's the things I wrote down. It's like an unfunny Groove Tube.
Yeah.
But then I didn't know if Groove Tube was funny.
Yeah, right, yeah.
And then it's just constantly, you really literally can't tell what it is while you're watching it. And it goes from Carol Channing's in very quickly. And the plot is, what is the plot of the movie?
The plot is, it's like a fake it's a gangster comedy acid movie, essentially. And so it's Jackie Gleason plays a low-level mobster who gets sent to jail.
Right.
His wife is Carol Channing, who's left at home with her hippie daughter and all her hippie friends.
I can't believe you remember all these things. I remember them a little bit now.
And the whole plot is like they have to get to the head mobster, who's played by Groucho Marx, God, to try to get Jackie Gleason out of jail. But as I recall, Jackie Gleason escapes from jail in the meantime.
Yeah. Well, here's what happens to me when
and had an acid trip in jail after licking the stamp of a hippie roommate.
First of all, here's what happens to me in a movie like this. This is the best case scenario for me watching a movie like that is First of all, I fell asleep maybe 4 times during the movie.
Right, okay.
I stopped the movie 8 times.
Okay.
And then I couldn't follow what was happening. So, for example, I knew that Jackie Gleason was hallucinating,
Right.
but I never knew why he was hallucinating.
Yeah.
And I didn't know why he ended up in prison.
I can't remember that.
And then the other thing that's amazing is he's the main guy, but then this Frankie Avalon shows up very quickly.
Right.
And Frankie Avalon, at first,
He's the mobster on the outside trying to get to God.
and he sets up this thing. He wants to come on to the daughter of Jackie Gleason.
Right. I think that was just the love interest story of the thing, wasn't it?
Well, first she's in love with Stash. This is what
'Cause
these
she's
characters.
hippie loving, yeah.
Yeah, this is like. It's like it proves to me that you can't just invent a story by coming up with more a variety of characters.
Well, the whole thing here's what it was: is that Preminger, who was
Yeah.
pretty much past his peak at this point, but he had done a bunch of big movies, Man with the Golden Arm and Exodus and a bunch of other shit. But he also did a bunch of acid with Timothy Leary and got very into acid, and so he wanted to do a youth movie.
Wow!
To do a youth culture movie, but there was nothing about him that was free and trippy because he was like a regimented German fucking director,
Yeah, but he did take acid and had like some.
Yeah, and in fact, he got both Groucho and Jackie Gleason to do acid before doing the movie.
And did they enjoy it, or
I don't know the full story.
Where'd you find out about this? Is there a book?
I did a bunch of reading. I got really into this movie for a minute just because I had never heard of it, and then I saw it, and I was like, "What the fuck is this?"
Well, this thing, it starts at the beginning, and this goes a lot where they keep changing channels on the TV.
Yeah.
And they were in a duel. I don't even understand what the bit is, really.
It's just a comment on the culture.
And it's just like Fat Cola. Then they have smoking dogs. Then they have a pro-gun commercial. Then Peter Lawford's in. Now, Peter Lawford looks like he's in a different movie.
There's like 9 different levels of performances going on in that movie.
But some of it from an existing movie, which is what it looks like.
Oh, I don't know if it was actually stolen footage. I
Because
doubt
he's
it.
like, no, Peter Lawford was in there. Credit, and also, who's that guy who's kind of an exotic-looking guy? Cesar Romero.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's some things I wrote about it, to describe it. The worst movie of all time meets Psycho. That's one way to look at it.
Yeah.
I noticed the looping like I've never, a couple of times. So it was like they said to themselves, maybe we can save it in the looping,
Right.
because they use
A lot of back of the head shots.
Yeah, as soon as Jack Gleason would turn his head. He has a sidekick. I don't know if you remember.
Arnold Stang was his sidekick, right?
Is that the name of the comedian? Yeah.
Yes.
And he was like 68. So to me, this was like they did some stuff where he was a little bit like Art Carney,
Yeah.
but it wasn't. It just was. You didn't know why he was the sidekick.
Right. No, you didn't. Yeah. I mean, none of the casting is justified.
Okay, here's some of the main lines that I got from this. If you can't dig nothing, you can't dig anything. You dig? If you can't dig nothing, you can't dig anything. You dig? Okay, that's my.
It looks like you can dig it, but you can't. It's Skidoo.
Jackie Gleason go, that's my one scene, that's my daughter. His daughter is just crazy or something, and she's falling in love with she's like at that age where she wants to find a horrible man,
Right.
I think.
Sure. She's man crazy.
Okay, this is my favorite, not that I'm saying my favorite line,
Okay.
but the favorite that the movie, I think, was trying to be edgy, and it has Jackie Gleason to say, what is he, a faggot?
Class, isn't it? Class.
Here's the words I wrote that you could write about this movie and it wouldn't make it sound good.
Okay.
It was madcap. It was manic.
All right.
It was wacky. But none of it was done well. The music was at times unforgivable. They sang public domain songs a couple of times, like 3 times they sang like
Camp Down Races or something.
No, it's 10 Little Indians, 9 Little 8 Little 7 Little Indians. So I thought that was like back when they had to do that. And then all of a sudden Frank Gorshin comes in
Yeah.
He's a tough guy
Right.
in jail, and it's like it really is like an acid trip in the sense like, but it's like Magical Mystery Tour if it wasn't if nothing good.
Well,
happened.
it's like a movie that's cast like a 70s variety show, almost.
Yes.
You know, it's like the cast is like, it feels like one of a Sonny and Cher sketch almost.
Yeah, it does. It feels like almost like from the Honeymooners where you would do their stage show.
Yeah.
Like they would do the Sheila McRae. And it wanted to be a musical sometimes, too.
Right. See, that's, again, there's a lot of Nashville in what you're saying.
Do you want to see Carol Channing almost naked?
Yes, I kind of did.
And she was
I
in
didn't
there.
know I did.
And one of the big buttons on that thing is she ends up sleeping with Jackie Gleason.
Her husband.
Is that her husband? Mm-hmm. I could not. Oh, so they're arguing in the first scene. Get out of here, you big... So why would it be a button that they'd sleep together? I thought that was like making like, look, how'd this happen? Like...
No, it's a happy ending.
Oh, it's a happy ending. And
Unlike
there's
Nashville.
another woman who's naked, almost naked.
Yeah.
You can see her...
A lot of bikinis.
And you can see her backside. She's a thin lady.
Yeah, a little thin.
Yeah. Oh, you have Jackie Gleason crying. You have Groucho Marx not being funny. Right?
Right, reading cue cards, basically.
Yeah, he's reading these things after this. Yeah.
Just another level of performance in the movie.
Burgess Meredith. As soon as one of these people came in, all I could focus on was, what are they going to be doing in here?
Right.
How are they getting out of here? And it's just like everything. Juggling. You'd have a scene where there was juggling in it. It's like they threw everything against the acid wall.
Right.
And it even had a tuba at the end.
But don't you agree that if you're of the so bad it's good school of movies, this is kind of a special thing?
I think it really is.
Yeah.
I think it's a. I think it
like
is.
I usually am not that guy, but this is just so like.
Right. I think you may even, unfortunately, have to watch it twice.
Yeah.
Because there's some parts that
Feel free.
There are some parts that are unwatchable.
That's your homework. Yeah, there are some unwatchable shit. There's some. So I watched Nashville,
Okay.
which is really long, but
That I didn't remember. Was it 3 hours?
It's almost 3.
Oh, God.
Because there's an hour of music in it.
Yeah.
So
Henry Gibson is in it.
Henry Gibson is great in it.
He is so great in it, right?
And there's great moments in it. There is. So my first impression of it was just like, okay, this feels like the 70s, and it feels like satire, kind of, it has this tone of just the thing. The movies, the Altman movies of the 70s have this flaw to me, which is it's cartoon characters acting naturalistically.
The cartoon character.
So it's like.
You mean this is for also Raging Bull too in those movies?
That's Martin Scorsese.
Oh, I thought you were talking about. I thought you were saying you have problems with movies from. These are problems with Altman movies.
Altman's movies.
Oh,
from the 70s.
I thought you said. I think you said all movies from the 70s.
No, Altman movies from the
gotcha.
70s.
Now you have to start again.
Okay, I'm going to start again.
Yeah.
That is not my problem with all movies from the 70s at all. My problem with Robert Altman's movies from the 70s is that his characters are, because he has really no regard for script.
That is true.
The characters can be cartoonish.
Right.
But he has them all acting very naturalistically with the overlapping dialogue and all
the cool part in a way.
is his, and you can see how it was mind-blowing at that moment. How this movie was so unconventional that I can see why it was a landmark movie for sure.
Yeah.
There was shit about it that bothered me. Like, it bothered me that he clearly has like no affection for country music or Nashville. So it's not a well-studied thing.
Oh, see, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about that. So it's all, is the country music shoddy?
I mean, the music is so, the actors all wrote their own songs.
Right.
And so, that was that's sort of an acting exercise. And so the songs were like written by amateurs and sung by amateurs.
There's no soundtrack?
Which is sort of the antithesis of what Nashville is.
Right,
Nashville is pro to the core,
That's a mistake, I would say.
I thought it was kind of. I just thought it, if you were going to.
You don't love that thing.
Yeah. I mean, so I felt like I felt like the satire level of it was shotgunny. Like it was like fire at whatever's in front of the camera.
Right.
Sometimes it's society, sometimes it's politics, sometimes it's, showbiz, sometimes, but it's, it's meant to be a sort of indictment of shallowness and showbiz, and it's as much a Hollywood movie as it is a country music movie.
And it's much, I'm mixing it up. I mean, it reminds me of but it's also like a politics movie too, right?
Well, sort of. I mean, everything is jammed in there, because it's all based around this political rally at the end where she gets shot.
Right.
Which, spoiler.
Is that Lily Tomlin?
But it's not a spoiler because it's it's incongruous with the whole. No, it's not Lily Tomlin. It's Ronnie Blakely.
Oh, okay.
Was the actress, and Barbara Jean was the character, the sort of Messiah-like,
right?
Loretta Lynn figure, who is over dramatically falling apart. But she had a great scene, which apparently she wrote most of herself, when she has this breakdown in front of this crowd at the Grand Ole Opry, and she's she keeps trying to start a song, but then she keeps stopping and reminiscing more and more. And it's a really great, uncomfortable breakdown-y scene. And that's kind of like the best scenes are breakdown, people having their lowest moment in the movie. Those are all kind of, but I just never, because there's 25 big parts in the movie, you never attach to anyone.
Right. You never attach to anyone. In fact, I saw it, I'm sure a couple of times when it first came out, and I saw it with Phil was showing on the movie night.
Right.
That's the last time I've seen it all the way through, and I still can't get a handle. It's a little like Chinatown, except Chinatown is more complex for a reason.
Right. There's a lot of plot in Chinatown.
There's a lot of plot.
There's not a lot of plot here.
There's not a lot of plot here, so the stuff that comes out of this plot, I would think I would normally have loved Altman because I hate writing in a way.
Right.
And so I like ad-libbing and stuff. But I can see why that guy Alan was upset, but then I couldn't understand. This is how he goes by the seat of his pants. He's not afraid to change the script.
Right.
So when it works, it's pretty amazing. It's a little bit like the Mike Lee stuff.
But it's like shooting a documentary of a script. It's like he shoots all the shit, and then it's like afterwards he can then put it together and see what they have. And most movies are like that, regardless. You can only build from what you have, but
I think the player the player plays out much more.
It's a lot more.
It's a better film than.
It's 18 years later.
I'm trying to think of what the ones where I go, this is because I always like to watch his movies.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's interesting because it's like his burst of popularity in the 90s with those three movies, which was like The Player and then Ready to Wear.
I didn't see that.
Yeah, Pret-a-Porter. Yes, and Shortcuts.
Which I remember liking a lot.
Those were all, his filmmaking was much more refined in those than in Nashville.
Oh, that's interesting. In other words, that's later, right? Shortcuts.
Yeah, 20 years later.
So you think he got better at directing?
Probably.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, I do think that, But, it's, you can't, it's one of those things where it's really a taste thing with Nashville, I certainly see its merits. And I love that he tried something so ambitious. But I also within the context of all the things he did, it's like there's like a bunch of underdeveloped things under this very complex umbrella.
Right.
And I just feel like some of that comes from the improvisatory nature of it, where it's like, you lose constructed moments. Dramatic constructed moments when you go into the improvisational thing. You find other moments and other things come out of it, and comedy directors tend to do that, who do improvisation. It's like, and it's maddening if you've written the script because know how dramatically what's supposed to happen in the scene. Mm-hmm. And people will often sacrifice that moment of drama for a moment of comedy, which is candy instead of nutrition at a time you need it sometimes.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, if you just disregard what's on the page, it can be trouble. But it's like when they're done right. Like to me, Spinal Tap is so much better than. Well, I don't want to say it that way, but it's, to me, so much far. I enjoy it more than any of those other movies.
Right, but that's a different scenario. That's not abandoning a script. There wasn't a script.
Right. Right.
You know?
But
so, that's and it was designed to.
I see. Yeah.
And it was shot like a documentary, which is way fat, and then find the great moments from way too much film. Which you can't do on a film set because it's too pricey.
Yeah. When I grew up, I was so impressed by these movies where the actor or the actor had so much. They were movies that were based on the actor sometimes, not just. Well,
completely. This was completely that. I mean, this was like. I mean, you can see why all these people did this for nothing. Because he went. Okay, actor, come here. I'm going to let you write your own song in character and sing it on camera.
Right. And
I'm going to let you sing the whole song.
Yeah.
So of course they lapped that shit up. They're actors, of course.
Right.
So I get why everyone would want to be there for that.
Yeah.
And it's still it was apparently a fairly druggy sort of partyish set too.
Right. So things. It's so hard for me to separate that I love the 70s, that I love that style, that I kind of love him, and that's like it's like you kind of want to imagine that there's a lot of. I think his movies, not so much. Like I saw a thing with Mike Nichols. Did you see that thing? I saw a little bit of it where they're interviewing him about his movies on HBO or something.
The one where he's sitting like in a theater.
Yeah. And and I've heard him talk about The Graduate, and so like there were a lot of things that Dustin Hoffman had a very strong point of view. What he wanted to do in the movie, and you can. I mean, to me, I think he probably shaped the movie a lot. And then there's a lot of, and then Mike Nichols was a very strong personality, but there were things that happened by accident, like when they, or maybe not by accident, like shoving the cross in the door, and there were things that happened that were happy accidents. Yeah. And I think that happens with the classic movies.
But I don't think there was a ton of them, honestly. And I mean, Mike Nichols is a pretty exacting director.
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
I mean, I think they have the fights before this take, is what I'm saying.
Oh, I agree. Probably, yeah. But like even stuff like he says to them, "I don't like that song. I don't like that song." This song,
it's a Simon and Garfunkel one.
Yeah, they go off for a second, and they just come back and they go, "Well, they've been writing a song about
Mrs. Roosevelt."
And so he loved it, and also I think he takes the Sounds of Silence or something, and he puts it over a whole visual thing.
I think he used it as a temp track or something, and it matched up perfectly.
Something like that. Yeah. So
no, yes, there for sure are happy accidents in the editing suite, like that. That because they're always discoveries. The shot where he jumps up on the air mattress and lands on the pillow in the bed is one of the great edits of all time. But it's something that was found. Apparently, it wasn't something that was storyboarded.
Yeah. Well, I guess I'm thinking like. The thing I like about those guys is that kind of filmmaking is that I feel that way about Coppola too. Also, I guess I love Coppola because I love the way Coppola, what he did with the Godfather movies. I just, I didn't realize that was a movie he didn't even want to take at first, and that they didn't have authentic Italian people before his movies. What are you laughing at?
I'm just laughing at your going into the half stories of the movie making.
Well, that's the thing that's so terrible about everything I do. You learn just a little bit of it, and not enough. But here's what
going back to Nashville, that's kind of was my problem with it. Is that his screenwriter did. She spent 6 months in Nashville and learned the town, and
who was the screenwriter?
Joan Tewksbury was her name.
Okay,
but he didn't spend that time there.
What did he do? Came in the last minute and.
Well, I mean, he didn't write the script. She wrote the script. So it just didn't have it had no tone, of Nashville. Mm-hmm. It had wackiness, you know, but it didn't have the specificity of the things that make Nashville, It had this very broad cartoonish thing going on. So it just, I don't know, because of the lack of specificity and things, it felt like a lot of soft satire to me. You know,
Yeah.
but because there was so much of it, it was sort of this scathing movie. But all of the sort of points it makes were largely soft, I felt.
Right. Well, the fact that I can't really remember anything from it, except I remember Henry Gibson really well from it. So he must have been great. You know?
Right.
I remember his stuff. Like he did some songs too?
Yeah.
Okay, the thing I want to say though was that one thing about his movies, so I wonder if P.T. Anderson, is that the guy's name?
Yeah, I totally think Paul Thomas Anderson's movies are derived from Altman movies.
Well,
yeah.
I mean,
especially like Boogie Nights and Magnolia.
Yeah, I mean, and I love Boogie Nights and I love Magnolia, but I decided that when he doesn't work, I can't watch him at all. I think it was The Master and the Master and the Commander, maybe, or The Master or The Master.
Right.
It's a Scientology thing.
Right.
And there's just a scene where it's Philip Seymour Hoffman yelling at the top of his lungs at one of the other actors, and you could just see how much they're into the drama of the drama.
Right.
Rather than the drama coming from the drama. Does that make sense?
It felt like an acting class.
It felt like an acting class. Yeah. And I was like, that's one thing that I can't, it's like, I just saw that about him maybe in that moment, and I hadn't seen it quite that way before. What really bothered me, and what's really bothered me was you could see him going, no, this is perfect. And now this time, come and chew his face off when you come
Well,
in.
that might be that might be the downside. I mean, that might be the other side of the coin, where it's like that is heavily written. It's not highly improvised. So all actors can do is come in and chew the scenery with what's there, as opposed to making their own choices, which might make it feel more natural,
Right.
So somewhere between, somewhere in the spectrum between Altman and Anderson, there might be actual human behavior. No.
Oh, what are we doing next week?
I don't know. You do Life of Brian.
Okay. Have you seen the Life of Brian? Okay,
Yeah.
let me write that down. Have you seen Harry and Tonto?
Yes.
Damn it!
But I could watch it again. I'm now going, all right, but how much do you remember? You remember Art Carney and a cat and a trip. That's what I remember.
Then I'll say watch it again because I watched it 20 years later and saw so many things. I remember loving it when I saw it in the movie theater.
Right.
But then when I saw it again, I saw so many more things.
Okay.
Is that cool?
Let me see how available it is
Okay.
before I commit to this, because I'm spending a lot of money on homework.
Oh, that's not right.
Well, we'll figure this out during the break.
Okay, we'll figure it out.
We have
during the
other
break.
things to discuss during the break anyway.
Okay.
So it's not bad. It's just logistics.
Jesus.
So you didn't bring music.
I'm so sad about it.
So let's do an Allison song.
Beautiful.
Here is a Depreciator song from that same night as Gruber's song last week. But I think it's the only recording of this song of Allison's that I kind of like.
Cool.
I mean, it's the only recording it's a song
know
I
what you
kind of
meant.
like, and I
And you
think
like
it's
the
the only.
recording of it.
I think it's the only recording of it.
Ah.
It's called Crazy Dance.
I like that. You had me at crazy.
Looking round the corner to the top of the side, tired of the locking on the stairs right. Oh, it's not too usual standing, nothing else coming deep. Don't need an excuse to fall through.
That was great. And I love, and what was it? Was it acoustic guitar or acoustic and electric?
It was two acoustics.
That was very good.
That was me and Tommy Chan chugging away.
I love chugging guitars. And the singing was excellent. I couldn't hear the words that well.
Well, when you listen back to the podcast, they'll all be clear.
No, I have my assistant listen. I loved it.
It's a ditty. Sort of countryish. That's why.
So you're saying
I threw it in with the Nashville show.
That's the thing is she has a country feel, but not everyone in rock and roll does. But
she has. I mean,
she definitely has that feel.
some genuinely countryish songs for sure.
Yeah,
I tend to stray away from them. But
see, that's where me and you differ. I love the country.
We still have some more in the Allison. Her cupboard's not bare. Mine is pretty close to bare.
I don't like the cupboard metaphor.
No, well, then come up with something better.
I have a lot in the arsenal. I have a lot left in the arsenal. Let's get it aggressive.
All right. How about arrows in a quiver? Maybe we can compromise between a cupboard and an arsenal.
Cards in a deck.
There we go. That's non-threatening.
I have to say one thing before we continue, is that my favorite lyrics continue to be watching flowers on the wall. It don't bother me at all. Playing solitaire till dawn with a deck of 51. Smoking cigarettes and watching Captain Kangaroo. Now don't tell me I've got nothing to do. You can't get better lyrics than that.
That's a long night.
Doesn't that song get that whole feeling of what that was when you stay up all night?
If I did Blow, maybe.
Yeah, because it's a depressing thing too.
Yeah.
Watching flowers on the wall, that don't bother me. It should bother him.
It should, yeah. And he could buy himself a new deck of cards.
There's nothing sadder than someone who doesn't want to make the effort to get a complete deck. That's how little he cares.
That he plays again.
He plays again till dawn.
Yeah, that's just,
And smoking cigarettes.
I think if he would have seen the commercial with the guy making the thing on the tower with the thing, it would have been a whole different song.
We've gotten some letters about that commercial since the break.
Yeah.
People said.
Let's do some questions. Jim Meehan says, a question that divided the nation in 78. Does disco suck? Disco kind of sucks. There's a lot of sucky disco.
I'm in the camp where I actually loved disco. And so I love the Saturday Night Fever. I love Donna Summers. But I know why people got sick of it. Everyone got sick of it.
Right.
It wasn't meant to be the only music available. And it was meant to be danced to sometimes. And the Saturday Night Fever, I just think is classic songs.
Yeah.
But it certainly got bigger than it should have gotten.
Fair enough.
But Talking Heads, those groups, they do say they were influenced by disco, and you can kind of hear it in there. And I love Talking Heads. And there was a dance thing, rhythm thing that persisted through disco to funk to new wave.
Yes, absolutely. There was.
Yeah. Why do I talk? Am I pedantic? I found out what that word meant.
Yeah, it's a tough day for any pedant.
Yeah, what does that mean, pedantic? Like you...
over-explanatory?
Yes.
Like you're teaching?
Oh, God, that's... oh, my God, that has to be me. I'm surprised I haven't put out an album. The pedant. The pedant.
Daily News Fight says Shaft or Dolomite?
I don't know either one of those movies well enough.
Then we just got ourselves a couple of assignments for homework.
Oh.
I say, Shaft's a better movie, but Dolomite's a better watch.
Is Dolomite a movie you watch to make fun of, or the movie was made to make fun of?
It operates in another world of kung fu, blaxploitation.
Yeah.
Because Rudy Ray Moore was a comic.
Okay.
So Dolomite was like a comic creation, but it's over the top violence.
Oh, okay. And that's the thing is, the downside of that is that it made what is his name? Tarantino make 40 movies like it, right? Isn't that what he does?
I don't know if that's the bad thing, but
no, don't you think that I haven't seen all of his have you seen the over the top? The Kill Bill?
Yeah.
And are they good?
Yeah.
Okay, then forget it. I withdraw my question. I withdraw my objection. But I won't promise, unless you assign me, I wouldn't watch any of those movies.
No, I wouldn't. It's Test Show 300 material.
What's your favorite spaghetti western? What do you think I'm going to say now?
The Good, the Bad, and the Manicotti.
My favorite is tagliatelle homemade.
Yeah.
House-made tagliatelle. Oh, my God. Hey, tagliatelle, get the hell out of town.
The outlaw Josie Boyardee.
Hey, Capellini. Hey, Angel hair. You're beautiful, Angel hair. You're beautiful. Don't ever let anybody tell you you're not. Mr. Weinstein?
Yes, Mr.
Please,
Kindler.
I don't have anything.
I appreciate your linguini jokes.
No, thank you. I don't have anything for you right now, but please leave the intercom on until I can think of something to say to you that would be funny, that would continue our Mr. Weinstein bit.
I'd appreciate something on the level of angel hair, if you would.
Oh, did you hear that?
I did. It was quite good.
ribald.
Quite good.
We had some ribald.
It was, yes.
Quite. Why can't people say quite a lot?
Perush posted today that this is the 1-year anniversary of the Mr. Weinstein universe. So,
Oh, now that may have planted a seed in, because I saw pictures today online of Gruber.
yeah,
Then someone didn't know who Gruber was, and then I saw
I posted his IMDb page. Yeah.
Ah, okay. And then Perush was talking about this.
Yoshi Yamamoto.
Yoshi Yamamoto.
Andy loves animals and doesn't have kids, so why doesn't he have a pet?
This is a very good point, because this is what we're talking about. Me and the wife talk about this all the time,
Yeah.
is that at some point soon we'd like to have a pet. Now, here's the problem with it. I would like to probably have a cat, but we're not going to have a cat. We're going to have a dog.
Okay.
But then when you think about all the things with the washing and the cleaning and the taking care of, and I just don't know. Well, it sounds like we don't even have you over for dinner in 3 years. So it's like, I don't know. But the point is, I would like to have a dog.
Okay.
I'd like it to be, what do I want? It has to be lucky sized, for sure, according to the condo board.
Yeah.
Lucky sized or smaller.
What's the weight limit with the condo?
I think they said like 25 pounds or something.
Yeah, it's right about lucky size. Nick Kosei says 2 questions. One, is any of Alice's, first of all, it's Allison, music. Is any of Allison,
First of all.
of Allison's music available online? Well, on this show, it is.
That's right.
Available online. But no, she doesn't have a current vending
Deal.
setup. And number 2, has Larry King ever interviewed Huell Hauser discussing such things like what makes California so amazing?
Tonight, for the entire hour, I have California Gold, Huell Hauser. The lines are open.
It is so good to be here, Larry.
Thank you. Milwaukee, Wisconsin, hello.
Yes. Hey, Mr. Hauser?
Yes.
Is that your original name? Or is your name based on the fact that it's House?
Well, it's a good question. It
I don't
really
like that.
is.
I don't really like that
It's
question.
a fantastic question. Yes, it's my real name, and it does work out well.
Milwaukee, Wisconsin, hello.
Why are they all calling from Milwaukee
Oh,
tonight?
I'm sorry. Tuscaloosa, Mississippi,
Oh, that's my hometown.
hello. Yeah, I really think you're great, Mr. Hauser. Please.
Well, thank you.
Please, in the form of a question. It must be in the form of a question.
You need to be more inquisitive, Larry.
Mr.
You
Hauser.
can get gold out of anything if you're just inquisitive enough. Are those suspenders? That's fantastic. I understand they help keep your pants up.
I'm 109 years old. I have 47 kids. And in another universe, I'm still smoking.
I can't believe I'm on Russian TV myself.
Now look, is your prostate not up to snuff?
It is swollen like a plum.
Well, then you have to. Isn't that what he's selling now? Is the prostate?
I don't know.
Oh God, I could go on forever, and I don't think we should.
It was the longest we've ever gone
It was the
on
longest we've ever gone.
in character.
Yeah. Hello.
Huh, Larry?
Do yourself a favor.
We never talked about what makes California so amazing. It's
What?
not the divorce laws. Am I right, Larry?
Ah, you got me. Now you got me again. Yeah, so what you do is, you go to Santa Barbara.
Yeah, say I go to Santa Barbara. And then I ask questions.
That's a show I did.
Is that the Pacific Ocean?
That's amazing. That's a show I did. I didn't even want to be an interviewer. I was eating in a deli, and they said, we're going to sit down, Mr. Jackie Cooper here. You must talk to him. Hello.
I don't do a Jackie Cooper.
There's no reason to continue with this. I'm hoping. Can you say end scene for once?
And no.
And see.
Mouth Almighty says, Andy, you got me hooked on case files. That led me to Small Town Dicks, recommended.
Oh, I know that one. Let me write it down as opposed to listening to the show.
Forensic Files.
Wait, Small Town Dicks. All
Yes.
right.
Have you guys seen Making a Murderer?
Oh, yes.
If not, I'm assigning it to you as homework. Josh, you will enjoy as a docaholic.
And you have seen it, right?
I have seen it.
Yeah.
And I'm not a docaholic. I'm a documentarian.
Whoa. Whoa, that is the first zero to insult it. Zero to what's up your... it's a good point you made, though.
Felix Potfan says, Andy, my therapist teaches me methods to avoid my intrusive thoughts, but I can't beat them. What's your favorite strategy for fending off intrusive thoughts?
Wow. I don't know that I can fend them off. I think trying to fend them off was kind of what got me into never even looking at, like, I shouldn't have this thought, so now I'm going to feel bad about having the thought. It's more like deciding to ways of getting yourself out of the predicament.
Right.
So that's like that thing when I was doing with that project. I couldn't get out of the predicament of the loop of that particular obsession, but I couldn't get that out of my mind. But I think it's more like when you're healthier. I'm at the point now where they come in and I recognize it and let them go type of thing.
I think that's the key, is to recognize it.
Yeah.
It's, it's to pick it up, hold it up to the light, examine it, then put it back down.
As opposed to repressing it or getting angry about it or
Fully indulging it.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I never thought of the fully indulging side of it. Like if you, but I mean, the classic thing that would happen to me is, I'll give you an example of something that shows that I'm generally getting better. Okay, so I really would be someone who could think they were the Golden State Killer. Like that joke I have. Maybe I'm a sleep murderer. But as you go through therapy and the Prozac and all that, you can sometimes see the dead end. Like I've convinced myself, there's nothing I can do about that. I'm not the Golden State Killer.
Right.
Mostly those kind of spin outs I can avoid now, just knowing that they're not, just knowing that why they're coming up. They're coming up because that's what the disease does or the illness does.
But you're getting into sort of the cognitive behavioral side of it now.
Yeah, except the kind of behavioral side, I never can do the thing where it's like, I won't do the thing where I won't check if that's what's part of the cognitive behavioral thing is.
Right.
But I do more like, I stop the thought by thinking it through a little bit.
Right.
What if someone did see me scratch my head from a car? How's that going to end my career? And what if it did end my what career?
Right. But it's answering the questions.
Yeah.
Which has a lot to do with it, I think.
Right. But these things like the insidious ones are the things that you just keep blowing up out of proportion. You can't get out of your head because now they become part of you.
But does speaking it help?
Like out loud?
Yeah.
I never thought of that. Oh, talking about it in the act, it really helped.
Yeah.
Because it was able to admit to people, this is what the kind of thing, and when they laugh at it, it's a big release to me. All these years, I've been worrying, I could never say to somebody, I think maybe I'm the Golden State Killer.
Right.
Yeah.
At least not in an elevator.
Not in an elevator, right? So.
No, but yes, I think to talk about it is one thing, but I mean to speak about, when you have something looping in your head.
Yeah.
Can you get it out, like the way that some people do morning pages or whatever, where it's like first thing in the morning, you vomit your stuff onto a piece of paper, so it's not just rolling around in your head. You know?
I think it's more like examining what the process is. Like, if I'm thinking about this, what do I stand to gain? If it's because I want to start an argument on Twitter, and I'm going down a road like that, which is another kind of obsession, I can stop and say, if I can stop and say, what do you stand to gain from this going down this road? Then you can sometimes avoid, because you go, once I get further in this thing, I'm just going to get into a fight with this person.
Right.
And so that's more
why
like,
I didn't do coke.
yeah. So it's more like trying to slow down, and I guess that's interesting. It's not being swept. It's not like not having feelings, but not being swept away by the initial feelings and acting on the initial feelings all the time.
Good answer. Let's move on.
Thank you.
All right. Enlightened Misanthrope says,
I like that.
what would you guys say is your biggest complaint with show business? I read/hear from others that in show business that the business part of it is the worst, but what about show business do you individually like the least?
Oh, boy. What do you say?
There's a few things. There's the needing permission to make things.
Yeah.
That bums me out.
It's interesting that you say that, because it's a way of like, we don't know any other system. I don't know any other system than the system of capitalism. You know, I've never lived in I would like this country to be more socialist with healthcare, but so I've never been in a situation where you didn't have to make a living to be able to do something artistically because of the hours in the day kind of a thing. So it is interesting to think of what if you didn't have to have that part of it, you know?
Yeah, well, I've tried it. It's better with the money.
Well, no, I mean, what if there was another, like a perfect world? That's what I'm saying. An alternative universe where it wasn't all based on, it wasn't based on competition. I don't know what that would be.
I don't know either.
Look at the WPA and all the things that happened during the Depression when the government was paying people to be creative and all this. Those things did kind of work. So we went so far the other way that I do think how much we have based everything on singing for your supper and poor rich does make it harder to be an artist and harder to be anything.
Right.
You know, because of the oppression of it. But I actually don't. The problems I have with show business are mostly the problems I have with my own personality, and that you would probably deal with in any field that I would be in.
Yeah, I mean, it's you know, I don't have any sort of. I mean, I hate show business, and yet that's all I've really wanted to do. I've you know, so it's like everything I have is because of show business, and everything, you know, I've built in terms of my life has sprung from show business.
Yes.
Pretty much. You know, I found all my favorite people in show business.
Right.
But I had to look hard, you know.
Yes.
It is, you know, I think it was Martin Mull who called it high school with money.
Yeah,
and
I think
it's incredibly apt, but, you know, there's also, I don't know, there, you know, the having like dealing with a bunch of people who are thinking about their careers in quotes is obnoxious.
That's a vanity. It starts to get very vain. It's like hanging around actors who are familiar with their looks all the time.
The self-absorption of the average showbiz denizen is depressing. But like I said, it's, you know, like there's like one of everybody in show business came from every town in America, kind of, you know.
Right.
The funny guy, the attractive, you know. So some of them are horrible, and some of them, you know, you cherry pick the quality people, I think. But
I think I'm also aware.
I mean, I don't feel, you know. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Like I said, I'm aware that I'm lucky to be making any kind of living. I mean, I never kind of get past that in a way, and so I don't get to the point, and I definitely don't get to the point where my least favorite thing of show business used to be thinking about whether I was going to make it or not. I was miserable when I was in my 20s. I don't have that side of me anymore.
Well, that's what I was about to say, is that there is, you know, there are tons of people making livings in show business who aren't career obsessed at this point, you know, because the people who are, you know, looking to be stars are in a narrow column.
Yeah.
You know, but other stuff, especially in this day and age, exists outside that column of superstardom. And, you know, think of how many TV shows you haven't heard of,
Right.
you know, that people are making lots of money making.
Yeah, exactly.
But the thing, the vibe thing that bugs me, I guess, the most is insincerity, rampant insincerity, you know?
Yeah, that's got to be
It's
the downside.
incompatible with my desired way to live, you know? I can't say that I'm 100% sincere all the time, but I get a visceral reaction to people who can't fucking say what's happening, you know?
Right.
Because they're terrified of their brand. You know, they're terrified that you're going to fucking succeed after they said no.
Yeah.
They're terrified that you're going to remember they said no, you know, when you succeed somewhere else. You know, so they just don't tell you no. They just tell you nothing.
Right.
You know?
Exactly.
Yeses come fast and no's come excruciatingly slow in this business. And most of the time you're just supposed to, you know, know it's not happening because no one's telling you an answer, you know?
Oh, well, the first time when when Michael Davies produced that thing, he said, "Oh, it's a go." I didn't know that you could get your hopes up. So that there are things that you experience in this business when you go through it the first time. You're like, they always tell you it's going to be.
And it's the first 5 times you go through it.
Yeah.
Where it's like you spin this fairy tale that your life becomes once this thing gets green light, and you spend it 10 years down the line, or, you know.
Right.
You create this trajectory in your mind of, now it's happening, baby. You know?
Well, yeah. Well, kind of my theory.
And then you go, it's not happening.
Well,
Okay.
Well, that's the thing about the being happy when type of thing. It's like when you can figure out. It's like when I was on Raymond, I wished it was my show. Everybody loves Andy, you know. And I would think if this was my show, that would solve all my problems. But that's just projection,
right?
Really. I mean, yes, it's easy for me to say. I wouldn't be happier if I was making all of his millions, you know.
Right.
And it might be, in fact, not true if you said, well, would you like a little more money? Oh, yeah, we all like money. We all like these things. But I don't think it was easy from his point of view. I don't think my image from his point of view, here's my show. I'm having a wonderful time doing it. And so it's like, I guess the point I'm making is you don't really know what's going to happen and where something will go. But the whole idea of buying into if I don't make it by the time I'm this age,
right,
is something I don't think about anymore, and that's something.
Well, you're 62, Andy. Of course not.
I don't even. No, but the thing is, I know what you're saying. You're saying is also true, but I don't feel bad about it.
No, you shouldn't.
Yeah,
you absolutely shouldn't. You know that you're my point.
Right.
My point is that you're successful. By most standards. You aren't in the column of superstardom at this point.
Right.
I hope that's not mean to say.
No, it's
but yeah, you're making a living. Making a living in show business. That you have friends and you're happy, and you're married and life is good.
Yeah, and I am truly happy.
Yeah.
Whereas in other time periods, I might have said that because I thought I should say that, but I might have been. But that's also because I was dealing with anger and stuff I didn't know I was dealing with.
Right.
So. The things that I like least about show business is people in general all worried about whether they're going to make it or not, whether it's me or friends of mine. I've seen that the whole time where it's the people like who come to you and go, I'd love to try stand up. That'd be good.
Right.
It's like no shortcut. Just
Right.
I'm not even trying to make it like I'm a magician. There's no shortcut. You should try it.
Right.
But there's nothing else that you can
Right.
say that is going to get you
exactly
further along with this.
And the third time you say it, I'm no longer interested.
Well, hopefully,
because it has to be a compulsion,
Right.
Like you can never suggest that people dabble in stand up,
No, I don't think you could dabble in it. The only thing you could dabble in it is if you wanted to be more comfortable in public or something, and then you could just do it twice a year. But that sounds ridiculous. Who's going to do it 2 or 3 times a year? So that they feel comfortable in public. It actually is not something you can do 2 or 3 times a year.
It's really not. Even after, I've done it 2 or 3 times a year. There's some years. and I was, a professional, and it wasn't that fun. for anyone, really.
Well, especially if you get.
I mean, I feel like I'm actually better than average in terms of getting my shops back quickly
right.
because I've like developed a process sort of now
Yes.
of not trusting myself to just, have it. Like I actually prep when I have been rusty,
Yeah.
But yeah, you every time I get on stage, it can be 30 seconds or it can be the whole set, but I'm rehoning,
Yeah. Absolutely. And yeah. I know. We ran out.
We ran out. Moving on. Tommy Barcanero says today is my second wedding anniversary.
Happy second wedding anniversary.
Barcaneros.
Today on the taping? Yeah, obviously.
Obviously. Do you have any favorite memories from previous wedding anniversary celebrations?
Usually a meal and watching something is usually the best. But we also went back to our honeymoon place a couple of years ago. That was really fun.
Yeah.
The surf and sand. Is that what the question was?
Yeah, that's good.
And I don't know if you've been to the surf and sand. It's an amazing hotel.
I have not, no.
But Laguna is nice. Yeah.
Laguna is nice.
I would like to go back to the place I got married in. I'd like to go back there. We haven't yet. We thought we would go back there more.
Yeah. We're right now we're on our next anniversary is our 20th, so we're a little bit like,
What's going to happen?
is it going to be big? What are we going to do? How are we going to?
Yeah.
We'll see.
You better get it together.
It's in July, so we'll see what's happening in July.
Is it is it Montreal time?
Yes, it is. Oh. July 24th.
Maybe
I'll be in Montreal with my wife and your wife.
I'm sure your wife. Honey, cross your fingers. It could happen.
Yeah. I was a teenage werewumpus. Says, how do you recover from bombing? I mean, if you ever have. What, recover or bomb? You recover by doing the next set. That's it.
Yeah.
I
think the best advice is the Federer thing that he tells himself, where he allows himself to be upset for a certain amount of time about a loss, and then he moves on. Because when you first bomb, for me especially, in the 10 minutes after I have a set where it feels like I just don't feel like myself anymore, or that I want to be funny anymore, you keep going over in your head. You're still in the experience of it still hurts, kind of, So there's nothing you can tell yourself, really. Even if someone goes, you'll have a good set tomorrow night, if something feels bad, like actually injured sometimes.
But here's the thing. You're the only one who remembers it.
True.
The next time you go up in front of the audience, it's an entirely different audience.
That's true.
So you shake it off. You take a shower.
Yeah. Rocky.
And you get back in there.
You're wrecking me here. You're a very dangerous person, Rocky.
But, I remember some horrible shows along the way, but I don't remember them staying with me as anything other than a story if it was a hilariously bad gig,
Well, I remember when I went to England and I was having trouble with adjusting, those things that throw me out of my normal rhythm, I can have those nights that seem like when I first started where, you just look like there's existential anxiety, I always say I'll never have that feeling again of like, what the hell am I doing? But then it does happen once every
year in Montreal.
Well, no, England definitely was like, it just kind of knocked me off. The thing is, I tell myself in the future you won't get knocked off your thing, but I think that's another, the desire to never feel uncomfortable is another thing then that becomes something that you feel like you have to do, and it's impossible.
Never feeling uncomfortable?
You can't say, I'll go the rest of my life. Every show I'll love because of my new method.
No. Anthony Paul Ardillo III says, request please, Andy, can you scat sing as Dennis Miller using his trademark choo-choos, cha-choos, etc.? Thanks.
I don't know about that one.
That's Dennis Miller.
Dennis Miller. Choo, choo, choo. Isn't that for you? Well, I'll do it and you tell me how to do it. All right?
Well, no, you have the scat singing chops that they seem to crave.
Baby.
Okay.
Smart mouth, baby.
All right.
That's it.
All right.
How about you?
No, it was for you.
Oh, my God. And
the request was specifically
Can
Andy.
you believe that?
I know, it's
After
cold-blooded.
what you've done with that character?
Cold-blooded. I know.
Yeah.
I know.
You made that character. Nobody even cared about Dennis Miller.
Thank you, Andy. Thank you. Emilio Fox says, Thought Spiral has a rabid fan base in New York City, and we demand a live show. When are we
that
getting
we should
one?
do. That we should do.
Also, Andy, plug your Union Hall shows on November 24th.
That's right. November 24th, I have 2 shows. After Thanksgiving, I've been doing it every year. And
He has yet to invite me to open for him.
I have yet to invite you to open for me. That's absolutely true. That's true. And don't fucking forget it. You mean you don't mean like stay in Queens with me or something like
No,
that, right?
no.
I'm married.
No.
Jesus
I'll
Christ.
I'll stay somewhere nice with my wife.
Oh, yeah. Whoa. Oh, it's hot. Oh, it's getting hot.
Perush wants to know what's worse than lukewarm coffee. Not much, Perush. Not much.
The thing about that is absolutely true. It's actually an ongoing struggle for me because the coffee snobs who I affiliate with, if they find out you used a microwave,
Right.
it's over.
Sure.
So there is a race with every cup of coffee, and if you listen to me, not you, but the people on the television line, listen to me. When your coffee, I learned this from the great Nick Cho, when your coffee gets towards room temperature, it actually starts to take on unpleasant flavors. That's why people who try to make iced coffee from room temperature coffee, it's awful. So what you want to do is drink the coffee, make 10 ounces, whatever you make, drink that coffee as you can feel it right before it still tastes good, but you know the next time it's going to be too warm, you put it in the refrigerator. And you make iced coffee later in the day.
Nice. Everyone, I hope you got that. If not, rewind.
It's very important for me to have coffee because I don't have any sugar in it. And then in the iced coffee, I just have cream in it.
Yeah.
And I'm beginning to think that I'm addicted to sugar. And you know when I started to think that? When I started to obsess about high chews.
Yeah. Is that what it took?
And when I came up with that tweet, which I thought was clever, the only time I clean up my desk is if I think there's candy hidden underneath it. I thought it was fun.
It's clever.
It's clever, but why did I think it would be like?
I don't know.
Do you ever think that something's going to be better than it is?
Well, sure.
All the time, I think that. But not all the time. But yeah, you're right.
Raoul Spook says it's Halloween time. So
Oh, I'm scared.
have either of you seen the new Adam Sandler's Netflix special? I found it surprisingly good. Curious to hear your thoughts. My only thought is that I've heard other people say it's surprisingly good.
Meryl Marco said that.
Yes, she did.
So to me, that makes me want to see it.
It did. It made me. It didn't quite take me over the edge to wanting to see
but
it.
it actually
but
made
I was
me.
like, oh, okay.
I have to
if
see
I
it
see
now.
it, I'll,
The thing that makes me nervous about it is I don't like the previews of it, but that's because I don't like his comedy that much. But I used to love him,
Right.
So I'm still looking at him jaundiced like.
Well.
So I have to watch it.
people who make previews suck a lot of the time, especially for comedy.
Yeah, but that would be something if he was back and funny.
Alberto Salas says, "What are your thoughts on Jack Benny?"
I love him.
Gotta love Jack Benny.
I love the delivery. Obviously, I don't know as much as I wish I did know about him, but I love. He reminds me of like Jonathan Katz, or he reminds me of like people who have their own rhythm and they bring you into their rhythm.
Right.
You know, so I like him a lot.
Yeah, I love him, and I like just his vibe was so generous to everyone around him.
Yes.
You know, despite his miserly persona. But he was, he was legendary for laughing at other comics, and he was, and his show was built like Seinfeld was, where it was like all these big characters revolving around him and letting them shine and stuff. So,
and he fought against racism.
Yeah.
Because there was a lot of racism, and we had Rochester.
Yeah.
And so I think he went to bat for him in many ways. Like, I forget the specifics of it.
Probably when they went to TV.
Yes, I think. Oh, okay. Why was there?
Because he was black.
Was there a
they
problem
probably
with it?
wanted to switch him out.
Well, I just don't remember exactly. I know the country had slavery.
And I think there's probably a pay thing too.
Right. I know the country I know that the country had slavery, and then it was bad. That's what I've heard.
All right. Gregory W. says sauerkraut, pro or con?
That's a very tough thing to ask me because I have a traumatic thing that happened to me. I have a memory of something traumatic. I don't even know what it is. It's like a scary memory from when I was like maybe before I could talk.
Yeah.
And sauerkraut has something to do with this horrible memory.
Wow.
On the other hand, I love it on hot dogs.
So you overcome it for any appropriate.
It's like
context.
it's like a tinsel. It's like something I can't remember. A traumatic thing that involves like a tinsel sauerkraut feel. You see how those two are the same? Sauerkraut, tinsel.
Feel. Okay. Yeah, I see. Visual texturally.
Don't make fun of my hidden.
Don't make fun of my.
I said don't make fun of my.
Don't make fun of my.
Stand By Your Man is back with how about a Spotify presence? You guys have had some great deep dives into music. You could just throw stuff up you want to share on a playlist, or someone, cough, Perush, cough, may even have band songs that you've talked about cataloged.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but first of all, I'm sorry that you have a cough that is so drastic
That you have to
have to tell. Yeah, I don't know. This is beyond my ken. You like that?
No.
You know what ken is?
No.
Knowledge. See, ADD? Flying object. And that's where the word...
Tom the Tom.
Tom.
So we don't have an answer for the Spotify thing. I don't use Spotify, so I just don't know.
Is this the second time that we've gone through this, and there's something to do with the... Doesn't Show Briz say there's music problems?
Well, he's saying how about just having a Spotify presence where we put up...
Oh, okay. Sure.
Playlist.
What's in it for us?
I don't know.
Wouldn't we do
having a
Bandcamp?
Spotify presence?
Well, will we do Bandcamp instead? Or will we do SoundCloud?
Those are different things.
Of course they're different.
They're all different
I
things.
can't talk to you about this.
I don't even want
You don't
to.
even understand what you're talking about,
No,
right?
we can't talk.
No, not anymore.
Tom the Tom says, do you consider the setup Josh, do you consider the setup, editing, posting, etc. of pod work, i.e. the tedium, hassle, stress of a job? Yes, of course I do. It is work. Yes. It's not work I resent, but it is work for sure.
Is it work that you are... I don't even want to ask questions.
What?
Like, part of my illness is that I start to dread whatever it is that I have to do.
Yeah.
Do you do that with this too?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So does that mean you go, I'll start Wednesday night?
Yes.
Well, that's good. You're a normal person.
Although there was a couple weeks where I was like day after I did it, but that's way more the exception than the rule.
And is it tedium when you first hear it back?
Well, it's just, I was here the first time.
Yeah, so it's not...
So yeah, it is kind of.
Do you ever say, wow, I'm so good?
No. Wow. I never say that.
I know what I like about this. I love to hear my voice.
Yes, I don't say that.
Interesting. Because that's what I would be doing. I would find out, have I done that sound thing tonight? Not as much, it feels like.
I don't know. I mostly know when I'm editing.
Because Susan has told me, I don't want to get you upset, but...
You smack your lips.
No, I'm doing a little bit of the thing with the accelerator pedal.
Oh, you're pumping it?
Yeah. It's like
you two in the car are no fun.
Well, here's don't tell Mr. Rental Car. Oh, by the way, did you hear the news today? The rental car office that you would normally return to was destroyed. Oh, believe me, I have GPS. What do you mean? First of all, me in a car is not fun anyway.
True.
Me in a car going to a gig is never fun.
Right.
Me in a car with Susan going to a gig and me worried about time is never fun.
Right.
And then with you freeloading in the back, you used to have the best backseat middle bit in the business.
Yeah. I got nothing.
Well, I think we're good in that question, right?
I think so.
I mean, you keep looking to me as if I'm going to, I have the answer.
Septic the Third says tomorrow, wink wink, is election day. Any interesting anecdotes from going to the polls through the years?
What is the wink? I'm sorry again that you have a problem with your winking thing. And that you have to bring it up.
Type it, yes. His eyes are actually typing the words wink.
Well, Susan got injured. I mean, the worst thing that happened to us is when we went to the poll and Susan we were walking and it was dark and she had cut her leg really badly and we spent 2012 in the emergency room. And that was the worst.
The entire year of 2012.
No, it was election night 2012.
Oh, okay.
It was Obama being reelected and I wanted to just sit there back at home and revel in it. You know, remember when Fox News said, "Oh, we don't think." What do you mean he lost or something like that?
Right.
So, how about you?
I got nothing other than the voting. Did a lot of voting.
It's almost like introducing.
Sometimes, some years I stood in line to vote. Other years I just walked in and voted.
Is that your Bob Dylan voting? I'm going to be voting.
I'm going to the polls. I'm going to the polls. What do you want me to vote for? I'm your man.
I can't watch Anthony Bourdain without thinking that I haven't been doing that joke because I'm afraid to do it. Yeah. But I should do it. And about how that joke is the meanest joke ever written.
Why is it the meanest joke ever written?
It's not mean. It's sad. Because I am watching, it does seem like it's going on forever now, the last few episodes.
Yeah. They are milking Anthony's
death.
Videoed life, yes.
But I did like that one where they asked the people behind the scenes. And
I passed by it, but since they'll run it 90 times,
yeah, you'll see it.
Yeah.
Try to avoid it.
I get it. Life's not worth living.
Well, anytime he says anything philosophical on the show or depressing.
It's like, oh, I'm glad you learned that. Oh.
You know what's amazing is that someone like him, this is what I think, that someone like him who commits suicide when I couldn't even go out on any of these things that he was doing, you know, eating a rat's feet, or, you know, it's like he's constantly putting himself in danger and uncomfortable situations. I would think if you could put up with a shoot of this type of show, you wouldn't be sad, but that's just the wrong way to think about depression.
Yeah, clearly it's not. Framing it
the right way.
Yeah. Greg Kelly wants to know, what did you do for a bachelor party, if anything? Ever witness any loathsome behavior by a groom at one you attended? No, I never have. I've never seen like the groom go off and get his knob washed or anything.
I've seen a couple of embarrassing things I did see one embarrassing thing at someone's bachelor party where they brought in strippers and it just didn't seem right.
No, I've been to those, but I've never seen the groom do anything.
No, I happen to know without revealing. No, maybe the groom didn't do it. There was a lot of shenanigans going on.
Yeah.
I went to the baseball game.
Right, I was there, Dodger game.
Yeah.
I went to Vegas, but I don't.
You had a bachelor party in Vegas?
Yeah.
That is great.
It was fantastic.
Yeah, that sounds great to me.
I barely remember it.
Did you drink a lot, or what did you?
No, I barely remember it just because we had done a bunch of trips with the basic similar cast, so they all blend together. So,
do you like gambling or
not that much?
I do. I love it.
There's a point where I feel stupid. Either, you don't feel stupid if you're winning consistently,
right?
But there's always going to be some point in my gambling evening where it's like
it starts going down.
Where it's either I can't believe I'm sitting here for this long, breaking even.
Right.
I feel stupid. I can't believe I lost that much money.
That's stupid.
I feel stupid.
I feel stupid.
Right. And then, or, inevitably, I can't believe I didn't leave while I was all the way up.
I know, it's very hard. One time that I won $5,000 on video poker, and that was like the one time where running around, having fun, but mostly I go to Vegas and I don't have really, you have to say to yourself, especially to play craps, it's like, I have $1,000 I could lose and there'd be no problem with it.
Right. And then it's like,
I don't have
you
that.
can only measure it by how long it took you to lose it, is how much fun you had.
Especially craps, because craps is so much fun and so frustrating, but can be so much fun.
Yeah. It just looks like trouble to me. I never got into it.
I got into it because of Susan. She taught me all of it.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, you guys like gambling though.
We do like it, but again, it's like we don't have the money to do it that much.
Right.
We save our quarters and nickels and dimes.
Yeah, Allison and I never did it together, so.
What? You never went to Vegas together? Or?
We went to Vegas together a bunch of times, but she doesn't gamble. She doesn't care.
Yeah.
She likes spas.
Susan likes spas and she loves poker. We both are poker. We love poker, but we haven't been watching. We haven't been keeping up with it.
Yeah. I can't. There's people. People are just too good. There's the average.
They are too good.
The average poker player is too good now.
No question.
Yeah.
For me, for sure.
Like 20 years ago, I would play poker
Yeah.
because they're and if you played at the stakes that I play at, you'd find
People who weren't professionals.
there were rubes at the table, and but now it's like everybody has poker chops.
Well, I go in and we do the no limit games, like no limit type things, but with small buy-ins.
Yeah.
So I have been that person who absolutely did not see that the board was paired, and and it's the most humiliating thing on the river. It was like nothing stopping me from thinking I won this hand, because I didn't see that somebody else got a full house, and you lose all your money in that one hand, and then you feel like an idiot.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Seth Dobson says Marin just came to Phoenix and killed. Any chance either or both of you might come to Phoenix? Sub question. If not, why not? Be gentle.
I don't have a good club to play there. I don't know what club he played.
Yeah, I don't either.
The last time I played at a place, it wasn't that great. It was I don't even know where it was. I would like to go to Phoenix.
We did. We played the Mesa Performing Arts Center a couple times. Mesa is a fucking hole.
Oh, is it really?
Mesa, Arizona is not a fun place, but Phoenix, the greater Phoenix.
Yeah,
is
Phoenix
fun.
is fun.
Scottsdale's all right, but
I'm up.
But I haven't. Yeah, I mean, don't ever think that we're
avoiding it.
We're actively avoiding any
Yeah.
town, really. Offers. That's what it takes a lot of the time.
Hard cash.
Yes. Gregory W. again. If forced to dress for Halloween, which joke of yours would you dress as?
I would dress as something with Hitler in it because it would look fun. I would dress as I don't really have one for that. Do you? What joke of yours?
Yeah.
What would you dress up as?
Would I dress as a second hand? Not on your watch. Tweet Bahar says, guys, a Pittsburgh synagogue is a long way from L.A., but I'm sure it's hard to be funny this week. Lots of us goyim stand with you. Thank you.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, thank you.
I do. Yeah, I do feel when you're feeling like you don't feel Jewish or something, or
I don't. It didn't hurt me more than a church shooting. Honestly.
Yeah, it does. But it hits anything. It hits home with. Oh, I recognize the situation.
Right.
It's been, but I understand what he's saying too, because it's like 3 days in a row where everything that this guy said, Trump has said, all the people he's targeted, they got bombs sent to.
Yeah.
So it is unbelievable what's happening right now, and I'm just holding my breath to the election.
And then what?
I can't believe if we don't do a major win, I think it's going to be because it was stolen again. I don't trust the elections. I'd be happily surprised if it goes off right.
Right. Well, considering what happened the last time, it's hard to trust shit right now. So.
But I would love it if he gets swamped at the polls. And it is amazing. It is amazing. It's like there are so many common sense things. It doesn't matter even if it wouldn't apply to one gun situation. There's just no reason why anybody should have any kind of automatic weapon like an AR-115 or whatever. And if we were really strict on those, there'd be less death. You wouldn't eliminate it, but there'd be less death. If it was really hard to get an AK-47
there would be less death per shooting.
There'd be less death per shooting.
Yeah. There might be equal amounts of shooting incidents.
The thing is, there's just no argument against sensible gun legislation.
I would agree. Emma Mark says, no question, loving the show. I enjoy the addition of homework assignments. Keep it up.
All right. That's the type of thing that you want to hear. Keep it going, gentlemen.
Speaking of which, my homework is going to be Harry and Tonto. I ordered it from Amazon during the break.
Does that mean it's already in your inbox?
Huh?
Oh, you're having it sent?
Yeah, it's an actual DVD.
Sweet.
They haven't digitized it.
Oh, right. That makes sense. There are many things that aren't digitized, right? Or some things.
No, it's completely digitized. It's just not streaming right now.
That's what it is. It's not. There isn't a lot in the Harry and Tonto business to keep it streaming.
That's right, Kimosabe. Okay, it's late. This has gone a
It is
really
late.
long
It's
time.
later
This
than
is crazy.
Oh my! Oh, this is the latest we've ever gone.
This is crazy talk.
All
So we're gonna end it here.
okay.
I think we got through most of the questions.
I think we did an excellent job.
I really do think so too.
I think you
There
did a
should
good
be
job.
some
If you wanna
serious
write-
back patting among us.
If you want to write to us your thought spiral show at gmail.com.
Nice.
Go to Flazzle right now. Razzle. Go to Zazzle right now. We're having a special on the shirt that you decided at 3:00 would be a nice design. Union Hall. Please support that after Thanksgiving. I'll be at Union Hall
On the 24th.
on the 24th.
All right.
Anything else you got?
Not really.
Well, you would think at the end of a show like that I would be very like the last part of it, I'd be like anxious to stop it, and you would be right about that.
Yeah.
I am so ready to stop this show.
Really? What would it take to get you to
A
leave?
clever sketch
Okay.
to end it with.
Yeah.
Josh, someone's at the door. Hello? Who's there? Please end the show. Okay.
I'm Dave X Machina, and I'm here to end the show.